good morning to you all. It is Sunday, 16th of December 2018, third Sunday, excuse me, third Sunday in Advent, which is, and forgive my pronunciation, Gaudete. It's a day when we are commanded to shout and give thanks, for the Lord is near. Yeah, it wants to be very near in this fog. Calling us all to Mass here in Martizay. Well, good afternoon to you, good afternoon. It's Sunday, and Sunday is supposedly a day of rest. It's a day for wearing a jumper that isn't impregnated with cement dust. Not for much longer. This is coming off shortly. Going away in a drawer, impenetrable even to the finest of dusts. Right, had some suggestions from some of you, very kind of you. The first suggestion that, the first suggestion was unrepeatable, but the very good suggestion is play more softly. In England, I've got a small collection of guitars all stashed away waiting for me to play when I get there, and I have got a whole pile of picks, nice soft flexible nylon ones. When I unpacked the Skoda when I arrived here in October, the only plectrum I seem to have got is this one that, you know, you could break a swan's wing with this one. It's hard. Not an excuse. You can be more gentle with your wrist, which yeah, that's one suggestion. Thank you. Another suggestion was for playing bar chords with the thumb over the top. This is a technique I've seen people do. I've tried it. If you play lots of Mark Knopfler sort of stuff, Mark Knopfler? Anyway, whatever his name is, you'll find that quite often he plays a chord with the thumb over the top to hold the top E string. Yeah, good suggestion. It can work for some people. The problem I'm having with this A chord wouldn't really work with the thumb over the top. That's not to say that it's not a good idea. It's one that I do use or will use with other stuff. My problem is these things, they've spent a life battering and wrenching and such likes, and this chord, I can make it, I can bar it, and I can put my fingers on the strings like that, and I can strum it softly. What I can't do is whack it on quickly. That is going to require practice. Practice, practice, practice. Another very good, very true suggestion is when you're bowing a chord, this needs to really squidge against the back of the neck of the guitar. So thank you each for those tips, those pointers. Oh, another one. Quite often when people bar, that bit of your finger doesn't really do the job. And some people suggest slightly rolling that finger one way or the other to make the chord nice. But really it's practice, 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 practice. Yeah, there we are. Anyway, that isn't what I'm doing this afternoon. What I'm doing is, having been this morning up the road for the third Sunday of Advent, a beautiful service, well done. The priest was actually wearing purple for Advent rather than rose for third Sunday of Advent. I don't know, not every priest has got the rose. I can never think of the right name for it. It's not a cassock. Surplice? No, it's not a surplice. Chasuble. How about chasuble? That's the proper word. Not all of them have them, and the rose coloured, the pink coloured one, a priest will only wear twice a year, and as they are incredibly expensive pieces of equipment, I think we can forgive him for wearing, well, I don't think we can, I think we must accept that he was in purple, which is the colour of the season. Those of you that think I'm talking double Dutch, yeah, probably. The more Catholic churches, and I don't necessarily mean the Church of Rome, I mean the more Catholic, the Episcopalians and various others, through the course of the year they wear different colours to indicate the season. Most of the year green, but different times of the year purple, white or rose. Today he wore purple. We had quite a good conversation. I think he thought I was going to be there next Sunday, and I explained that I wouldn't be. You know, I'm going back to England. Yeah, so I will be back here in January and we'll carry on from there. Anyway, what I am supposed to be doing, this box here is supposed to be full of nicely wrapped Christmas presents, and it isn't. Oh dear. And if we don't get it nicely filled with Christmas presents, there will be some sad faces on the 25th of December. So that is my next job for the day, I think. Yeah. Anyway, let's crack on. Now the weather isn't right for painting, but I've got to get some things done before Thursday, and today is my best opportunity to get some painting done. Not ideal at all, but you know, needs must sometimes. Well, it's never ideal painting in this sort of weather. I had hoped to have done that door and that door, and well, I've been defeated this time. But yeah, looking at that wants some paint on the brackets, doesn't it? They're not looking too clever. The rust seems to have come through them. Okay. Well, that's something to worry about. Yeah, but there's all of these things to do, and what I do need to do, I need to give her a once over, make sure she's got enough oil to get me to Calais. Yeah, and put everything away ready for departing. I was sort of thinking about George, thinking about his choice that he's announced that he's going to move. Each of us has to make choices for ourselves, for our own situations, and I thoroughly understand shoveling snow all year can't be that much fun, but it's a scary thought. You know, I look at the stuff that George has got in his shop and you think, crikey, that's going to take a lot of moving. I think we should convince him to move to France. You know, that house is currently up for sale. The one next door to it is currently up for sale. You know, moving to Tennessee, it's like moving to France. He's going to have to learn a new language and all that sort of thing, isn't he? But I'm sure we wish him well. I just think, crikey. Yeah. Very stressful time. We're thinking of you, George. Well, I've got about half an hour to make best use of. So this is the the upper room, as it were. This isn't the room I've been working in, but I'd like to get this a little bit tidier and get it closer to being ready for plaster. And as I say, I've got half an hour. I can't work outdoors. Most of this I've already pointed it in with various sorts of cement, fixed the blocks, but it wants a skim of cement before it's ready for plastering. I've wetted it, but it looks like it wants a bit more water on there. But that's what I'm going to be doing for a little while. Okay, well, yeah, that's some more muck spread. These walls, besides needing pointing to lock the stones back in, they're very, very uneven and they want a lot of building up. So I'm sort of quite pleased that that's not right yet, but you know, I've put a fair amount of muck into the depressions. There we are. Perhaps tomorrow I might move on to that bit there. It's ugly, isn't it? And this is the guest bedroom, and you know, the guests might wonder why I've got maps of Africa on the wall instead of plaster. The one thing that I want to say is every time, without fail, that you do a job like this, you clean your tools, that way they're ready to use next time. That's why I've got a bucket of water and a broom head, and yeah, scuff those tools off nice and clean, make them like new. So there we are. That was a quick little job. I'm now going to go and chuck some more wood in the fire and have a cup of tea. Well, that's a bit better, isn't it? A box with stuff in, wrapped up. No, you're not going to find out what's in there. Secret. That's got to be lugged all the way to England and stuck underneath someone else's tree. But there we are. That's yeah, happy with that. Right, the kettle is boiling. It's not quite boiling, it will start to whistle in a moment, and then I shall drink tea. Well, I've got the central heating going. That's why I've not got me jumper on. Central heating, it's in the middle of the room. Don't get much more central than that. Sunday night. It's been a cracking day today, one way or another. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And there's dust and all sorts in there. That probably doesn't help, does it? I'll have to get an airline in there and suck the concrete out. Yeah, Sunday night, so it's that time to wind down, slow down and think about bed. But we've been practicing. Good night, folks.